like a Patreon makes so much sense for your platform. I was talking to my friend Dean. I don't know if you know Dean Manizuko.
Yeah, I love him.
I love him. You do? Yeah, he talked about you.
I shot a capstone project when my camera was like brand new, and I believe he had one of his own, and he was my assistant camera person. So I would tell him how to set up the B cam to my liking, and then like we would cross compare, and sometimes I would have him operate certain shots, and then yeah, really, really nice guy. I always couldn't even tell if he liked me or not because he's so dry.
He's so monotone.
I love his personality. Like it's so, like he's really sweet, but he's like the most dry, monotone dude, but like in a lovely way. And I was always like, I want your respect.
No, he's a great dude. He and I have become like, I met him. What's funny is I never even met him at ASU because, as I said, I never worked on ASU projects, and he was like 2 years behind.
It was after I graduated.
Yeah. So, but we worked on like we met like over a year ago. We met on like a really terrible set, but we like bonded, and so we've kind of worked on just a few things together afterward, and we've, in my opinion, I hope he feels the same way, but we've kind of created a good like tag team of like we balance each other out really well on projects. But yeah, he's very monotone. He's monochrome. He's all one color.
This motherfucker's black and white.
He's very monotone and dry, and so once you get to know him, it's like very enjoyable to be around. But we were talking about the same thing about social media and the way that videographers and filmmakers, it's so different than photographers who build a different type of gallery. Like sharing on that kind of platform, there's always super talented people. All the people that I admire in the Phoenix film world have very similar profiles where it's like very, very minimalist. There's like 7 really, really good posts, but that's about it, you know, and it's just so hard to share.
Everybody's account is the same archetype.
Yeah.
That's why like everything I'm trying to do now over the last year or so, it's been very much so just exactly what I want to do and kind of not what people say you're supposed to do. Because as a filmmaker, like, if you told someone like, hey, I want to be a cinematographer turned like professional feature film director, which is basically what I want my path to be.
Right.
Most people have a path laid out in their head where they're like, okay, this guy's going to move here, work on sets, work his way up, yada, yada. If you told that person like, all right, my plan is to have a podcast and animate these like lyric videos and direct music videos and this and that, like people would be like, how do those connect at all? But I'm making things I enjoy. I'm meeting tons and tons of really, really talented people, which get me into different doors. I'm gaining different skill sets through doing different things. So like I like that when people come to see like what I've been up to, it kind of is like just this random box where you don't really know what's going to be in it.
Well, and I think I don't know if it's something about just this day and age or in just a shift in thinking, but like there was someone I dated for a long time who was a very wonderful person, but they very much had a mindset of like they're trying to get from point A to point B in a straight line, and they were frustrated when anything got in their path. And in my mind, I was like, there's a bajillion ways to get from point A to point B. Like, I'm open to all of the doors. It doesn't mean it's not going to lead me to point B eventually. Like, I want to be open to those things. But when you're only set on that B line, I didn't mean to make that pun, but I guess that makes sense. When you're set on that, it's like then you don't open yourself up to these other things or other skill sets you could learn. And then by the time you get there, if you get there, you aren't qualified for all these other things that now, I don't know if it's things have become so saturated that's like you kind of have to be multifaceted. Plus, so many things do kind of go hand in hand.
I think it's because of Kanye.
I don't want to talk about Kanye. No.
I mean, we don't have to extensively, but very legitimately, like, I think, like, he was, like, the guy who was, like, you put me in this box, I'm going to break out of it. And you put me in this box, you put me... And, like, somebody who is, like, he's, like, their greatest inspiration is, like, Donald Glover. And for, like, a lot of people, he's, like, the thesis of I can be a million different things. And same with Tyler, the Creator. Like, he looked up to Kanye, and now he's, like, a clothing designer, musician, composer, music festival creator. And I think, like, you know, James Franco was always one of those guys. But I think just having, like, influential people who say, like, I'm going to do a whole bunch of stuff is, like, really powerful. I was talking to... Jay the other day about like Seth Rogen and how like a lot of people don't know he like executive produces like The Boys on Amazon Prime, and it's like, what does he have to do with that? But I think just having multifaceted people is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we can attribute that to Kanye as well. Like,
I'm not saying he should be president.
No.
He should not. But like for the most part, like I think like having
it did used to be like you had to really define yourself. It was like in order to get jobs in certain atmospheres for, I think like our parents' generation, it was like you specify and you are very good at that thing and that's how you get hired. And now it's just become like we aren't people who, we're very privileged in this generation of people where it's like we don't have to be really good plumbers to get, you know what I mean? Like those jobs, we were the kind of the generation of like you could do whatever you wanted to do because we've gotten to that point in life where so many things are automated or run by robot or whatever, that we have the ability to like be artists and not be starving. Like, it used to be, you know, it's no longer exactly like that anymore. So it is a privilege that we get to do this, but it also becomes, well, I'm not going to be this really specific artist because there's a lot of those. So I'm going to be all these things. And like, I don't want to half-ass anything, but there does become a way to kind of, you can be multifaceted and be really good at these other things.
Ironically, though, I will say the people who wind up making me feel the most insecure are the people who are extremely focused on one thing. Like for instance, like Dean, like he's such a good camera person. If he has all these other skill sets, which I'm sure he probably does. Yeah. I don't know, just because my experience with him is as a camera person. But people like him and Brandon Ripp, who like all they do is like eat, breathe, and sleep like camera stuff. They like wind up making me feel like I need to know more about, you know. That's the one thing, like being, you know, it's the whole like jack all trades versus master none thing. But I think if you're really passionate about all the trades you do, they wind up aiding each other and that becomes a thing of its own. So
it does